As you sit back and relax, just notice how easy it is to imagine how things could be different. How at each passing moment there are new opportunities for you to see things from a different perspective. You don't need to do anything. You simply get to allow your mind to expand, effortlessly shifting into new possibilities. Just like peeling away the layers of an onion, layer by layer, moving towards something more specific, more unique. You've heard it said, when you build a strong foundation, you can reach great heights. It's like building a tall structure. Every layer supports the next, and every small adjustment creates a more solid, reliable outcome. And so, you might notice, as we explore this idea, that all the rituals and the procedures that others insist on, they're not necessarily required. No, they're simply conventions that convince, that create a show, a performance. And while these can be useful, they aren't essential for transformation. You can simply choose a different possibility, one that's always available to you. And you'll find with the structure of hypnosis, you can begin to work through it all. Whether your eyes are open or closed, because the real work is happening in the unconscious. It's not about what you're doing, not about the actions or the rituals. It's about how, in this moment, you realize you're not really doing anything. It's almost as if you're watching something unfold, while in fact it's the unconscious mind that's doing everything, bringing all the changes to life. Just notice that. You don't need to understand everything now, but you know, the more you trust the process, the more things just happen. It's all right there for you, waiting to unfold naturally. While this process is unfolding, you begin to realize, when we say something makes sense, it can also be said, we simply agree on a way of describing things. Words, they're powerful, yes, but often we forget. These words, they aren't reality. They're just our descriptions, our attempts to understand and control the world that's around us. We label, we categorize, but those labels, they don't capture the full experience, do they? The real experience, the real connection, it lies beyond the words, in the space that's in between. And that in itself is a powerful realization. Everything you ever experienced, the ways you process the world, it's been ways of solving problems, of constructing meaning, of making sense of things. And in the same way, you'll notice, as you practice, you can change the way you move through the world. Whatever experience, your mind begins to take new signals, form new patterns, new habits, until eventually it's no longer even something you have to think about. It simply happens. It's not that you're doing it wrong, not at all. It's simply every action you've ever taken, every thought you ever had. It's just another way that your mind has found to chop up the world, to categorize it, to make it manageable. And as you learn to notice the assumptions and the beliefs in your mind, you can ask yourself, are these assumptions, these truths, really true? Can you allow them to shift? Because often, the answers, they're simply what you've been thinking all along. But these thoughts, they're just stories that have helped you to navigate the world so far. And as you notice them, as you simply observe them, you'll begin to see how flexible they can be, how easily they can evolve into something more fitting, something that works even better for you. Now imagine the many people you've come across, therapists, coaches, or even just friends who've worked with you, helping you to shift your perspective. Perhaps they never told you how to do it directly. Perhaps they simply helped by reflecting back to you a new way of seeing yourself. In doing so, they're also shifting their own beliefs, their own certainties, and that shift created a ripple effect, making it easier for you to shift as well. The work is done not just through communication, but in how their presence, how their beliefs transform the way you see things. It's an intricate dance, this communication between us all. As we speak, as we interact, we're engaging in a constant exchange, one that's both verbal and non-verbal. And sometimes, the more we try to understand, try to make sense of it all, the more we miss. Because what's more powerful than your interpretation of their words is the space between your words, the impact their communication has on them. So you get curious, really curious, ask questions, not to make sense of it in your terms, but to open up new possibilities, new meanings, new perspectives. And as you notice this, you might begin to recognize sometimes it's not about trying to figure it out. No, It's about letting go of the need. It's about not needing to fit everything into your model, your frame of reference, and instead you simply engage in a dance, a dynamic conversation. Together, you and the person you're working with, you create something new, something that works, something that's far more fluid, more adaptable than any rigid system. So just imagine when you stop trying to force things into your pre-existing beliefs. You allow a much more expansive, flexible process to take place. And in this space, in this moment, your mind becomes a narrative-making machine. One that doesn't have to be bound by past patterns or old beliefs. Instead it becomes free, fluid, ready to create new, empowering stories. And so, just like that, you'll notice something subtle but profound beginning to shift within you. You've always had the ability to create meaning, to reshape the stories that you tell yourself. The difference now is, you're doing this intentionally, with awareness. You're beginning to see how easy it is to let go of unnecessary structures, unnecessary beliefs, and instead trust the power of the process of transformation that happens every day, whether you realize it or not. And as you continue this journey, you'll find every small change leads to bigger shifts effortlessly. And with that, you'll begin to see how everything you need is already inside you. All that's required now is your willingness to step into the unknown, to trust the possibilities are infinite, and to allow your unconscious mind to guide you towards this transformation you've always wanted.